your hands in the air and get to clapping them and like back and forth because this is what you thought it wasn't. It means.
What you thought it wasn't, it is. Yes, indeed. Oh, yes. It has happened. First episode. Rio SIrah. This is the very first episode. Yeah, I went on and made it happen, baby. Now, here's some things that you're going to need to understand. One, Rio SIrah is whatever will be, will be. And that's the same with this show. I don't know what's going to happen all the time. Sometimes I'm going to talk to you guys directly, and sometimes I'm going to have a guest on here, and sometimes there's going to be somebody else in my place speaking for me. I don't know how everything is going to go, but I'll tell you this though. You are going to get some information, some inspiration, some education, hopefully some lessons and some blessings, because there's a whole lot of civil unrest and a whole lot of social disarray happening right now. And it's a lot of different things that I could speak on, but right now I feel like the best thing to do is to give some level of hope and inspiration to people out here in the artist world, in the culture, and in our soul. So that is the purpose of the show. Yes, to give you a little background, I am Rio SIrah, the body artist, Rio SIrah, the visual engineer, Rio SIrah, the curator of the great universal ways of creating art, the original shamanic painter. What else? Many different hats I wear, even though I don't have a hat on my head in this moment. But I've been known for many forms of art, many levels of art. And, sometimes I'm going to get tongue-tied in here, y'all, because sometimes I have a whole lot of thoughts moving around at the same time. And you're trying to make all of this stuff make sense all in the moment, So bear with me. But today's episode is going to be about why artists are underpaid and how I fixed it. There we go. So let's start off with this. Most artists are underpaid, not because they're not because you're not talented, not because, the world doesn't value your art, not because of, you're not good enough. Most of the time you're devoured because you were taught to confuse passion with power. And I know this because I lived it. I painted for exposure at one point in my life, painting for exposure. It was horrible. I painted for just trying to be in the rooms with the right people. And I would smile through the disrespect and figured that this was just like the coming of being a great artist. Like this is something that I had or was supposed to go through in order to consider myself to be a great artist. And I'll tell you this, exposure is not cash. I think everybody knows this. Exposure is not valuable, tangible content that you can put in your pocket and then take out and later go buy some goods and vegetables and all that. It's not. And we get caught as artists, we get caught in the limbo of that because we do not have, being honest, we don't have the complete confidence in ourselves the way that we should. And we know that. And we deal with that stress a little bit quietly. And we keep doing events on top of events on top of events to try and level out that we're actually busy or that we're actually succeeding, when actually all you're doing is devaluing yourself. So I'm going to go through it. I wrote a lot of different things down, and I'm going to go through all the things that I wrote, and then we're going to talk about it, and we're going to discuss it, and we're going to see, what the situation is. So artists underprice themselves because they don't understand how value actually works. And today, I'm going to show you. Yeah, I'm going to show you. Not with hacks, not with trends, but how you shift your identity. And here's the thing to think about. I think about Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson shifted himself 3 times, maybe even more than that, but maybe about 5 times. But I know for certain he started off as Jackson 5, little Michael, and everybody loved him for who he was when he was 6 and 7 and 8 years old. Then he grew up, and that time frame, that identity that people knew him to be, had a cap on the value. Because when he became older and he was Jackson 5 with all his brothers and they were grown men, they were not as sought after as they were when they first came out and they were kids. And Michael understood something in the level of becoming great and becoming something of a value that nobody could imitate or duplicate. He started watching the masters. He started looking at all the masters. He was watching James Brown. He was watching Jackie Wilson. He was watching Fred Astaire. He was watching all of these different people, and he was building himself. He was also watching the music and the movement of hip hop and what was happening in the 80s, because this is how he stumbled up on the moonwalk. But without making a whole long thing, the thing is, he found out how to reinvent himself. And the Michael that we knew as a little boy changed. And then it went to Michael the teenager, who changed. And then it went to the Michael Jackson that we know. Thriller, Off the Wall, Bad, all of these was him moving the level of his value up because of how he shifted his identity. And that's one of the biggest things that you have to consider as an artist. As an artist, you're an artist. You're an artist. You're supposed to shift and change the way that not only you look, but how society looks. If there's things in society that you don't like, you can shift it. You can change it. You can turn it into something else. You are the co-creator of God. That's exactly who you are as an artist. You are the co-creator of the Almighty. All the things that he didn't create with his own visible, the trees and the birds and the wind and everything else was created by artists. You're living in the world that you want to create. So I'm going to my next topic. My next topic is the lie we were sold. Artists are trained to believe 3 dangerous lies. If you're good enough, you'll be discovered. Oh, Lord. Let me tell you something. When I was living in Atlanta, you know what I used to do? I used to sit on the train and draw when I was going in between my, travels. And I would sit there and I would draw. And in my mind, I'm thinking, man, maybe some famous person will see me drawing and see my work and be like, yo, that's dope, and put me on and I'll be on. Let me tell y'all something. I also continued this mindset for about 5 years. Painting paintings for people, for famous artists that would show up in Atlanta, and I'd go paint a painting of them, and then go to the event and hold up the painting and try my best to get, hey man, I made a painting for you. Let me tell you what happened in most of all of those scenarios. Either 1, they didn't even see it. 2, they got the painting through management. Management came, oh, that's cool. It's nice, man. That's cool. Thank you. And maybe they gave it to the artist and maybe they didn't. And 3rd, I would get it directly to the artist and the artist would be like, oh, that's cool. That's nice. I even had one situation with Crazy Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony. I did a painting for him. And he was on his way out. I was at an event in LA. He was on his way out and I had finished this painting and I was like, hey, yo, Crazy, I made this painting for you. And I said, I know you probably don't want, he said, shit. Yes, I do. He picked it up. He walked on out with it. I didn't even get a chance to take a photo or anything. I didn't get a chance to take a photo or nothing. It was so fast. I was like, yo, I know you probably don't want another painting or got somebody in your way. Like, he said, shit. Yes, I can. He took that painting and he went on about his way. Did I get discovered? No. Did somebody say, hey man, you one of the dopest artists ever. I'm finna put you on my show and we finna. No. Let me tell you, you have to get that out your head. That is a 1 in a billion times a billion possibility that's how you're going to get found. You have to put in the work. The second thing is money corrupts creativity. Third thing is exposure is a fair trade. Let me tell you something. Money is not the root of all evil. I want you to go back and read the scripture again. I will say it again. Money is not the root of all evil. The love of money is the root of all evil. It's a difference. Money is not evil. But to love money, to love it, is the root of all evil. Because if you love money, that means you're going to put money above everything else. That means when it comes to loyalty, money. When it comes to integrity, money. When it comes to dignity, money. When it comes to respect, money. And take it a step even further, if you love it so much, that means just like if you love your loved ones, you say, oh my mama, I'll kill a nigga, oh my, because you love your mama so much. You kill somebody on your money. And that's where that term comes from. But artists, you are supposed to be wealthy. Okay? Never let somebody tell you that you're supposed to be a starving artist. That is some, Let me calm down. I'm calm now. That is some tomfoolery to the top degree of tomfoolery. You are not supposed to be broke. You are not supposed to be suffering. And it is not a badge of honor to be suffering and scraping and scrapping around for pennies for your artwork, especially in this day and age. You are supposed to be in the value and love and monetary gain of your work. You are supposed to be that. So anybody that's selling that to you is the devil. The other one, exposure is a fair trade. Now, let me tell you this. This is how I feel about exposure. Number one, you expose yourself, but be careful how you do that because you don't want to get arrested. Keep your pants on. But exposing your artwork is something you're supposed to be doing. Let me give you a clarity. Nobody knows you have art for sale if you don't tell nobody you got art for sale. Exposure. Nobody knows that your art is of a certain type of demographic unless you put it up on Instagram or Facebook. Exposure. Nobody knows that your artwork is even existing if you don't talk about it and show it to different events and shows that you think are worth the time and value. That's exposure. When I got on the TV show called Skin Wars, I went to a competition show. I went to a body art competition show. Now, let me tell you how the Lord moved, how the Lord shows up. Lord. First, I didn't even really have a lot of money to be in the competition show. It takes money to be in it because you got to buy material, you got to pay the model, you got to pay your assistant. You really want them to feel like they contributed, and you really want to show them that you value their time by paying them. Okay? So I did that. And on top of that, I had to also buy material. Now I spent about $400 or something like that. And the prize money, I think, was, I don't know, $500, a $500 prize. So in either case, I had missed this particular body art competition show in Atlanta 4 years in a row. Every year I missed it. It was either because it just showed up and I forgot and it was like, oh, I don't have time to prepare, or I didn't have the means in which to go forward with being on the show. So this time I pushed with everything I had and I ended up on the show. I ended up on the competition show. Now, it was this competition show that the producers of Skin Wars ended up coming to this show. They didn't come to the other 4. They came to this one. And while I was in there painting, Jill Gouliart, what up, Jelly, walked up to me. Oh my God. Now come to find out, she had said something remotely close to like every other art. She was like, from what I was told, okay? She said, oh my God, I've been looking for you. Oh my God, your art is so amazing. We're doing this show and blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. Guys, nobody called me on the phone and said, Rio, we're doing a competition show. We want you to be a part of it, but we ain't got no money and it's good exposure. That's not what happened. What happened was I seeked for something that I felt would help better expose what I was doing as an artist. Do you see the difference? Okay. So when I seeked, I went out, and when I went out, I was found. And when I was found, I signed a contract right then and there on the spot. And then I think that might have been just so the end of that year, we got flown out or flued out, however y'all want to say it. This is ridiculous. Flued out. Got flown out to Culver City, California to do the testing of this show. This wasn't official. This was just the preliminaries. But I'll get to more of what I'm speaking on in that moment, but I want to stay on topic. The topic is exposure is a fair trade. These lies keep artists poor. They keep them obedient. They keep them grateful for crumbs. Discovery is a myth. It's a myth. Don't walk around with that in your head. Oh, I'm gonna get discovered. Oh, I'm gonna get discovered. Motherfucker, you're only gonna get discovered once you start putting in the work to show that you are worthy of somebody spending their money on you. And that's really what it boils down to. There aren't no A&Rs and stuff like that anymore. Developing people and developing the artists and developing, like that is dead damn near. It might be some people still doing it, but it's pretty much out of here. And because of that, nobody is going to spend the time to discover you and develop you. Like I said, I'm not saying that these things don't happen at all. I'm just saying it's not common. So you shouldn't walk around with that in your head. You have to get rid of that completely. You're discovered by discovering yourself. You are exposed by exposing yourself. You expose your artwork. You put yourself out there. And know your worth and know your value. We're going to get through it. Let me tell you this. Money doesn't corrupt art. Insecurity does. You ever been around somebody who oversells themselves? Oversells themselves. Like, you're already good at what you do. But this person continues to oversell what they're doing to the point that it makes the person listening to them think, man, well, maybe this person ain't got it all together. Let me tell you this. People with money can immediately tell. Desperation. I'm running away from that. Struggle. Doesn't smell good. It's not on my plate. They can detect it immediately. And insecurities, immediate detection. You don't believe in your artwork enough that it's supposed to sell for this point. Look, don't worry. You can't worry. You have to realize that whatever you put the price for your work, that it will sell. Continue to keep it where it is and work in between that. Keep your artwork at the price that it is, but do other different things with your artwork. Do other different things with your craft. It doesn't have to be like, I'm only selling paintings and that's it. Sell prints. I'm only selling paints and prints. That's it. Paint shoes. It's only Satan Pellins this and that. Look, put a pitch package together and put a show together. These are different avenues of income that you can use, and you can set different tiers on that so that you're not 100% just all the way out broke. And if push comes to shove and you must get a job, add on to that. You know what? Fuck that. I can't believe I just said that. Fuck that. No, I can't. I can't sit with that one. No. If you are serious about your craft and serious about your art, what you're going to have to do instead is you're going to have to be the job. You're going to have to put your foot on the gas pedal of your business mind and stop just thinking like an artist. You're going to have to start doing numbers. Look at what people are buying. Look at how many people are buying it. Look at how often people buy this particular thing and duplicate it. It's as simple as that. Do your version of it. Let's get through it. All right. The truth is, art is and has never been valued for beauty alone. It has always been valued for context, confidence, and control. I'll say it again. Context, confidence, control. Let's go through it. Context. What do you mean by context? Meaning the artwork has a story. It ain't just pretty. It ain't just something that you just drew. Oh, why did you create this? I don't know. I just felt like doing it. Now, let me say this. If this type of comment goes with the overall behavior of your character as an artist, and it plays into all of your artwork, then it works. Because sometimes there are some artists who they say less. They say less and they get a lot. They don't sit up and explain, well, when I first started with my art, I was feeling sad, and then they don't do none of that. They have a type of mystery behind them that makes people seek them. Banksy is extremely good at this. But everybody has a different type of character or moniker, if you will, in which they use to help give context to the whole body of work. I give you an example. Me, myself, I call myself the mystifier, the mystical, the invincible. In a way, I'm about to rename myself as Doctor Strange, the Doctor Strange of the art world, because everything I have and everything that I'm doing is a certain magical element to it. It isn't just art just for the sake of art. It's coded in all of these different textures and symbols and signs and wonders inside of my artwork. That is what I am building. And I like that because it comes from, years of watching Indiana Jones and sci-fi movies and Transformers and all this other different type of stuff. And it kind of worked its way into my character. And it's like, Kung Fu movies, like all this different stuff, they had a very mysterious and mystic, like, moment of proving yourself type of thing in the stories where, you didn't just get the surface. You had other cryptic things you had to get past in order to say that, yeah, you're the master. Yeah, you're the best. And so that's kind of what I built my whole style into, amongst other different things. But that's definitely one of the top. So you have to have that. The second thing is confidence. Confidence, confidence, confidence. If you don't believe in your shit, how is anybody else going to believe in it? You have to believe that your work is superb, it's great, it's glorious, it's beautiful. Is la 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 la. Whatever you think about your work, if you think that it's political, it's life-changing, it's something that's reaffirming to human society and it's going to change the way that, men and women connect with each other and the way children learn things and the way that, the industrial world moves and the technology world moves. If you think that you have something that is extremely, visionary, you have to believe in that. You have to go with that. And sometimes I'll give you moments where, let me tell you what I mean by confidence. There are times that you can, like, my mother used to tell me when she was younger, whenever she was upset or felt anxious or felt frustrated about something, she never let that feeling get past her chest. If it went to her stomach, that was it. She wasn't going to do it. She was going to probably talk herself out of doing it or run from the occasion or run from the situation. And I understood what that meant because that's something that I actually do. I'll say something. Like when I first painted my first mural, I hadn't painted a mural before. No, I did not. But did I know I had the ability of what it takes to paint a mural in me? Yes. And I also knew that how was I going to get to my first mural if I didn't paint a mural, if I didn't start with a mural. And so I told the person, yeah, I can do it. And I went and I figured it out. When they asked, that feeling was right here in my chest. And I wouldn't let it drop to my stomach, because if I let it drop to my stomach, I'd be like, well, self-doubt shows up. You start saying, well, I don't know, I'll try, like, I think about, well, I do my best, I'll try. Nobody wants a sad sack, I don't know what, whack, wickety whack motherfucker with his head down doing no work for them, period. You don't want that. You want someone you know who's competent for the job. Control. Control is the last one. Now, control can mean a few different things. Control means controlling your emotion, control of your technique, control of how you market your idea. It can mean a various bunch of different things. I would say this: control your emotion. That's the first thing on top, because you're already using a lot of it to do the artwork. But when you get ready to speak about your work, you get ready to move around and talk about your work, you do not want to seem like someone who isn't put together, who doesn't have it together. And things like, when I talk with people, I try my very best not to shake my leg, fiddle around with my hands too much, do a lot of head scratching and all this. Control yourself. Speak about what you're doing in confidence and be fluid and be sturdy. So there's that. Now, what changed everything for me? My career changed the moment I stopped asking. Do they like my work? Do you think it's good enough? The moment I stopped doing that, things begin to change for me. They really begin to change. And I stopped asking permission to do certain things. Case in point. After I got on the show, Skin Wars, after I got off of that show and everybody knew that I was on it, I did a viewing party for it. I ain't had no money. I did not have no money for that viewing party. I don't know what this place is called now, but it was called the Blue Oyster place in Atlanta. And that day, what was this? This was like, I think maybe 2016. Because I think 2015, the episode had dropped. And I think I was doing a viewing party around that time. So 2015, 2016, somewhere in there. I'm walking there with sheer confidence. I walked in there and I told the people, hey, so I'm one of the biggest artists, one of the biggest well-known international artists. I'm getting ready to have a show debut. It's called Skin Wars, blah, 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 blah. I want to know, can we have a showing here at this place? And the guy was telling me about what it took to book the place and everything. And what I think we ended up negotiating on was the people that actually came to support the show ended up paying tickets, and then we went half on the tickets. When people went in, they already started paying for food and drinks and all this other different type of stuff. These people were so happy. They were like, "Oh wow, dude, you a star for real, for real, for real." Like a lot of people came to show up for me, but it took me walking in with confidence. It took me walking in with saying, not necessarily asking permission. I didn't have financially what it took for me to be in there, but I knew I had the value. I knew I had that. And that's one thing that I am doing my best to speak to you guys about and get you to understand about what you're doing in your craft, in your life, and in your art, period. Have some confidence. What problem does my presence solve? When I walk into rooms differently, not as someone hoping to be chosen, but as someone curating the experience, the money followed. Curating the experience. I didn't sell paint, I sold authority. I didn't sell paint, I sold vision. I didn't sell paint, I sold atmosphere and energy. Collectors don't buy objects, they buy permission. Permission to feel powerful, permission to feel cultured, ahead of the curve. And once I understood that, pricing became simple. Experience. Let me give you an example. If you don't know what I'm saying, and then I'll show you how that all relates to Disney World. You go to Disney World. You don't go to, look, you think Disney World the only place that's got roller coaster rides? No. You think Disney World's the only place that has a gift shop? No. No, they're not. But what are they selling you? Experience. They created the experience for you in movies, in the pajamas, in the coloring books, in the frisbees, in the mugs, all of the stuff that you got from McDonald's when you drove your kid through to eat that poison and get a Happy Meal. They already sold you those things. Authority. They know what you like. Vision, atmosphere, energy. The energy of Disney is magical. Is it not? What is your energy? What is your energy? My energy is spiritual. Spiritual. I just made up a word, spiritual. So I guess it's magical and spirit. But spiritual, there we go. Just made a new word. Magical and spiritual is what my energy is. I roll around with that when I'm creating my art. I'm rolling around with that when I'm not creating my art. I just have that on me because this is the way I feel about people. This is the way I feel about art. This is the way I feel about the Almighty. This is the way I feel about my paintings. This is the way I feel about a lot of different things that I do. So understand what your energy is, and then think about what type of atmosphere do you want to create. You want your atmosphere to be, hey, rah, 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 high energy. You want your atmosphere to be serene and Buddha-like, meditative. You want your atmosphere to be a big, camaraderie of gamers and cosplayers and people who have a very imaginative mindset and imaginative spirit, imagination, that type of atmosphere you want to build. And then vision. What is the vision? After you brought all these people together, what is the vision? What do you want them to see? What is it that you want them to see? Is a vision. Is it a new type of world where people simply trade goods and services of what they're doing digitally as money? so that they can go into other gamers' worlds and experience their gaming experiences? Do you want a vision where people create agriculture and plants and food and grow their own gardens and don't have to worry about going to the grocery store to go get real, true vegetables? So you've built a community of people who are these group of people grow pumpkins, and these group of people grow grapes, and these group of people grow mangoes, and you all are a collective community that have built something as a vision. That's what vision is. And authority. You have to have authority in what you're doing. That means you have to put your foot down on your principles that you create for your community and your culture. And you have to know what it is that you want. Yes, indeed. Moving on. So, another part of this is understanding luxury. Why luxury clients pay more. I want you to pay attention to this. Luxury clients don't negotiate. They interpret hesitation as weakness. They pay more when you speak less, when you explain less, and when you stand firmer. Scarcity is not a trick, it's a posture. If your art is always available, it feels disposable. I learned to limit access, control narrative, let silence do the selling. That's when checks got larger. Okay, so let me break this down. Let me give you an understanding of what I mean by this. Luxury clients don't negotiate. Why? Because if it's something that they want, they just buy it. That's it. This goes back to overselling yourself again. Like when you are confident in something that you have and confident in the way that you're speaking about it. And I have done this a few times where when I spoke about my artwork or I spoke about what it is that I knew that I could create, people were like, you know what? Okay, all right, I'm with that. I'll buy it. Or I'll put money down on it. And then when I finish delivering the rest of it and finishing it off and they see how well it is, because you have to be skilled in what you're doing. You can't just say, hey, I can do it. And then you get to the point of doing it and you can't not execute. Then, that's how you end up with a few scammers. But if you can, you're building your reputation now. You're beginning to build your reputation because that word is going to carry. And when that word carries, as it continues to grow, if you're in the right rooms when this happens, then that word carries to other luxury people. And it becomes less and less of a negotiating situation when you speak about your art. When you speak less and you explain less, it just shows that you are confident. We keep going back to the word confident again. It just shows that you are firm in what it is that you're doing. If I'm creating something that is valuable, and once again, people, understand where you sit in the world of art. Understand that by simply understanding yourself. What do you want to see out of your work? If you don't have an answer to a question that simple, you got some more growing to do. And it's okay. It's okay because we all have those identity shifts, which is what I just said before. Using Michael Jackson as the template again. He had an identity shift after he was a little boy. He had an identity shift after he was a teenager. And he had an identity shift when he went into the Michael Jackson we all know and love with all the great hits. He was making himself worth the value that he said he was worth. But he had to create that with his imagery. And when he created with his imagery, he created it with confidence that he could get it done. There's some of your work that because this is a different game. This is a different game you're playing when you're playing with creating artwork for luxury clients. They don't want to have work that everybody else got. As I started creating the SIrah experience, I started from one situation where at first it was me, Niley, Frida, I'm missing Ryan. Feel like I'm missing somebody else, but it was and Quanice and Kiera. We were the first. We all started it in LA with some friends that Ryan had who invited us to be at the show. We wasn't even a part of the program. When I was building that, I always had in mind a huge show that celebrity clients and big superstars and big crowds of people would come to see. I always had that in my mind. I had it split into two. One part of that experience was like a concert, hundreds of thousands of people watching you do art to music, creating that art piece live, and doing it just like how DJs are today. The DJs out there, they either really DJing or they just pushing buttons. In either case, the whole crowd is going crazy. Crazy. I thought of that as an artist. I was like, that could work as an artist. And I started doing that. The second part of that experience was having private parties, private events where a live, very intimate art show happened with a one-of-a-kind piece that only the luxury clients could own and nobody else outside of that would even have access to. That's the way I thought of the SIrah experience. And as I continued to go up the ladder doing that, that's exactly what I started creating. One part of what I was doing was for everybody, so to speak. But there was another side of my art that was for no one but the top tier. And this is something you have to create for yourself. This is something you have to know for yourself. What do you want to do with your art? What do you want to do with your vision? And how do you want this to come off to the masses? So this is how I fixed it. This is how I fixed just being underpaid. Here's the shift you make immediately. Stop presenting your work as content. Stop presenting it as culture. Culture doesn't beg, culture invites. Raise your prices before you feel ready. Remove one-way people can access you. Remove one way people can access you. Remove one way people can access you. That means narrow it down to one way that people can access you. Speak about your work like it already matters. Because here's the truth. No one tells artists confidence creates value before proof does. Confidence creates value before proof does. Confidence creates value before proof does. Everybody should understand that the gist of what today's topic is about when you're feeling underpaid is because you're not confident. If you take nothing else from this episode, you are not underpaid because you lack talent. You are not underpaid because you haven't claimed authority. The moment you stop asking for permission, the market recalibrates. In the next episode, before we even get to the next episode, let me say this. I have these moments in my life where I get sidetracked. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. As a matter of fact, people would call this ADHD. I think I'm having an ADHD moment right now. Because sometimes I get off track. And sometimes your mind just wanders. And it's good to wonder. Because that imagination is what's creating your art. So I'll be in here like doing all of this before I get ready to create my art. Sometimes I just be in a room by myself. ADHD, it stands for a dream, having a dream, having a dream, yeah. My camera's going everywhere, it don't know where to go, it's going crazy. All right. Oh man. So you never know until you show. And when you show with some confidence. That's the bigger end of this whole thing. Confidence. Your artwork and what you're doing as a creator is only going to mean something to people if it means something to you. This is not really people try to make this a big mystifying notion, but I know this to be the truth because I've done this a few times. However I felt about something before I actually put it out, people felt the same way. The majority of the people that looked at it felt the same way. And I used to test this a little bit when I was rapping, when I was seriously pursuing my music career. When I would go in the booth and rhyme and say a certain thing, I would literally hear myself getting ready to say a line that I didn't emphasize the way I guess I could have. And when I didn't put that emphasis on it, and I was like, nah, it'll be all right. Somebody would listen to the song, one of my friends or whatever, and that very same part that I didn't emphasize is the same part that they was like, man, the whole song was cool, man, it was real dope. But that little part right there where you said that, if you had said it like this, yeah, I knew it. People, go with the feeling that you have and build that energy. Build the energy of what you want that feeling to be in your work, in your art. Put a price on it, stamp it, keep it there, and then move with the confidence of that. Stop worrying about whether or not people are going to like it or if they're going to buy it. Because if you continue to be consistent, consistency is the key. If you continue to be consistent, eventually, people are going to come knock on your door. And that's how that's going to work. So I hope y'all enjoyed this. This is definitely the start of something great. My next episode, we're going to talk about beauty as a weapon and how artists can use it intelligently instead of apologetically. Y'all didn't know I was going to do all this, did it? Mwah. All right. Be sure, check out that link right there. Go to my Patreon. Yes, go in there. Check it out. You can get early access. Also, you can get classes. Also, a lot of whatever you contribute will help to get better equipment for the class and for the podcast. Because that is the two main things that I will be working on this year. And anything that you contribute helps because it's going to build us up as a community. Believe that. So, yes, merchandise and stuff is also available in those tiers. Just check them out and you can become a part of it. Also, stay tuned for Meta Culture as I am continuing to build metaculture, I will go into a deeper explanation about that. But for right now, you can always hit that link right there and go to metaculture and go check out what it is about, what it is going to lead into, and the vision behind it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is Rio SIrah. Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. See y'all tomorrow. Peace.
I said,